Welcome, guys, to another episode of Realtor Hacks, Tips, and Tricks. I am one of your hosts, Hallie McCrory, based here in Texas. I live part-time in San Angelo and part-time in Dallas, so West and North Texas. Also, am a host for American Dream TV, Emmy-nominated TV show, and coach for Tarek El Moussa's team at eXp Realty. And I also have my lovely co-host on here, Casey Stiers, the downtown guru of Raleigh, North Carolina, and also a host for American Dream TV in the Raleigh area. Again, Emmy-nominated TV show. And we're so excited today to have one of Casey's good friends on, Eddie Wilson. If you're in the Raleigh area or anywhere on the East Coast, you probably know him from his influencer page. Raleigh is Growing and all the affiliates with that. And we'll get his tickers going here in a minute. But yeah, we're really excited. A lot of people, I feel like our best episodes are all based around social media. So we're really excited to have Eddie on. And Eddie, thanks for jumping on and making time. I know you're a busy guy.
Day in and day out.
Yeah, that's
okay.
right.
We always start our shows off. We want to hear a little bit about you and your history and how you got into real estate. I'm really curious. I know Casey probably knows your story, but I'm curious if you got into or made this Instagram first or got into real estate first.
So when I was I came out of college and I went straight into working in corporate America. I worked for Lenovo for about 4 years.
Okay.
My older brother was about 12 years. Excuse me?
Did you go to school in North Carolina?
Yeah. I went to college at Greensboro.
Nice. That's where I'm from.
Yeah, it's definitely it's blowing up now. It did not used to be blowing up 10 years ago. Whenever I came back to Raleigh and I ended up being roommates with my brother, and he's 12 years older than me, and he's also in real estate. He's in the Charlotte area. At the time was in the Raleigh area. And I bought a house at a very young age, say 21 probably. And I was like, okay, I bought on the east side. It was up and coming at the time. Now I'm surrounded by new construction. And I was like, it was the biggest investment I'd ever made. I never even really bought a new car. So I was like, oh, I've just put my life savings in a brick ranch. And so I started following all the rehabilitation going on around me as far as the new construction, the commercial space being bought up. Gateway Plaza was the big one. And then as you saw, every day we were getting a new rezoning request for 20, 30, 40, 45 stories in North Hills. And so I just started saying hashtag Raleigh is growing. And I would post news articles on Facebook. Well, then I decided hey, I should maybe get into real estate. As I kept following it. And at first it was like a joke, Raleigh's growing, it's blowing up. And so then I decided to leave corporate America and get my real estate license. And I just picked up bartending for a little while. And
Of me during that time and asked me how I like being a realtor.
Yeah. And so as I got into it, we started this Instagram handle. And at first it was to post knowledge as far as real estate for the local community through I wanted people to be able to see what it's like to walk around Raleigh from a local point of view and go to support new restaurants. We used to just go to new places they open, not just take some photos, videos. My wife is the one that mainly runs the account, especially now.
I was going to ask.
Usually I email her stuff or I give her some things, especially if it has to do with for example, Wake County medium home values or something new coming into the area. I try to send her stuff and she may not use it immediately, but eventually I'll see it pop up on Instagram and she stashed away until she needed something. She couldn't find something to do for that day.
Yeah.
So then she started monetizing it.
Yeah. So what year was this? When you started
we started it in 2018, probably November.
Okay.
And then she started monetizing it probably 2020 and 2021. Don't hold me to those dates.
It was towards the
end.
end.
That makes sense with I feel like a lot of people got into that kind of monetizing accounts and stuff during COVID. So that, that checks out.
Yeah. So, so she had learned a lot about social media. She owns her and her family own a jewelry store called Joint Venture Jewelry in Cary. It's been open for around 30 years.
Yeah.
So she was doing a lot of social media with clothing because she used to own a boutique as well. They own a boutique as well that they ended up getting rid of during the pandemic because retail kind of took a big
Right.
shift.
Everybody's online. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she started learning how to like make reels, and she was like, she self-taught everything by watching YouTube pretty much. YouTube, and like she would take like little online social media classes and stuff to learn. And then she was like, I can monetize this and do it. So now fast forward, it's got to around 50,000 followers in the local area. It has really high engagement, which is good. You'll see a lot of people, they'll post, they might have like 200,000 followers, but they don't get real engagement with it, like likes and people sharing it and people actually participating. You have the trolls that are mad that the area is blowing up because now they can't afford a house to live in, which is fine. I mean, I get it. It's hard seeing things double in price. But she works with a lot of different people in the area, which is like, for example, she works with North Hills. She works with some people at Crabtree. She works with a lot of local businesses, from bars, restaurants, attorneys, you name it. She's pretty much worked with it and does now. And so that's kind of like her in and out. She works with local developers as well. We're actually going to an event tomorrow night. It's at the Exotic Car Club in North Raleigh, and they're unveiling a new neighborhood called Shin Leaf. Okay. And so Shin Leaf is up in North Raleigh where Falls Lake is, but all of Falls Lake is all owned by the government. So you can't build or develop around it, but they've gotten some parcels pretty close by that they're developing around the 2 million price point, high luxury market, that you also you have a greenway that walks down to like a private beach. Right. On the lake, or you can like park your boat at the dock and walk up to your house and let the kids take turns jet skiing, whatever you end up doing. Yeah. And so it definitely has brought about a lot of good opportunities. I've met a lot of people through it, which is cool. Yeah. It's also been really good for meeting and networking for business. Yeah. So at what point did you start making these little like ancillary accounts, like Eddie and Real? Did you already have Eddie? So I just changed my current Instagram that's old to a different name, just so it kind of would flow, Yeah. And then when we launched a firm, back in the summer, early fall of last year. This is your firm, right? Yeah, it's our firm. Yeah. And so when we launched Raleigh is Growing Real Estate with my partner, I have a business partner. His name's Brad, and he's actually my broker in charge, which I do not want to do all of that, but he's one of my best friends. And so it's very easy to get along with him. Right. And so from there, I was like, we should leverage some of this Raleigh is Growing name, but I didn't want to like take necessarily from what my wife had built for the past 5 years. It's like her baby. And so I was like, we should do a different handle, like Raleigh is Growing Real Estate, that's more based around real estate. And so we launched it. I partnered with a couple lenders. One is Matt Valentine. The other one's Bart Pointner in the area. And I leveraged them and they partnered with me to accumulate like a big giveaway. Yeah. And so Matt was a big part of that. Bart really helps with the social media side. But we did like a big beach giveaway. I think it was like a Shaboomy, like a Yeti cooler, 2 Bahama beach chairs, some cups. And we launched it, and we were able to grow like from one giveaway. I think it got up to like 2,500 followers in like 2 days. Yeah, that's amazing. Cool because you can leverage off of it. Now we do a lot of stuff around real estate on that page. Okay. Because people don't want to like that are following influencer accounts. They don't want to just be sold houses nonstop. Right. Buy a house, sell your house, buy a house. It's a good time to buy. It's a good time to sell. You know what I mean? Yeah, but at the same time, a lot of people who are probably looking at that account are people looking to move to Raleigh and would like that. Yeah. So, a lot of people, it's weird working in real estate, and there is some leads that come in through social media platforms. Yeah. And it's always from out of state. Yeah. It's randomly in interior, randomly. You might have 1 or 2 here and there, but majority it's like relocating, and like the stay-at-home mom is following the account from Seattle, for example. I'll give them as an example if they see this. He's really now one of my really good friends, but they relocated here from Seattle, and they were like, "Hey, we follow the account. Do you have time to meet?" We met. We got them a nice house in Cary, and now they become good friends. I love it. I mean, it's
like we kept talking about when your clients turn into friendships. I mean, you're building relationships. Yeah.
And a lot of my people I will say I have more friends from my business than I have clients, because they've all become friends at the end, like for the most part.
Well, and I feel like this is such a authentic way to pick up clients as well. You're obviously have always been interested about the growth in Raleigh, and they're going to have an interest in it. That's something to bond over. I don't know. It makes sense that they would turn into, clients become friends in that scenario. So
yeah, it's random. Like sometimes, like I used to be on the page a little bit. It'd be weird. Like when we first started, I bartended. And I was at Brookside in my neighborhood. It was a local bar. And people would randomly walk in and be like, "You're that guy on that Instagram account." And I was like, actually, yeah, that is me. But that was like low following. That was like 2, 3, 4, 5,000 following when she first launched it.
Yeah, but still, that's
it just happened to be a couple people in my neighborhood followed it and they came into the bar to get a beer or bring their kids in to get pizza, whatever it was.
Right.
It was just interesting. I was like, all right, this could be fun if it got bigger.
And I'm sure it has.
It's been fun. I've got to do so much stuff. Like, for example, we went to a topping off when was this? Probably last spring. And in North Hills for like a 25, 30-story tower. So we got to go inside the tower before it even had glass on it. We went up a buck hoist and got to see things. Ended up eating lunch at the very top of it. That was really cool. Wow. And then we did 400H. We just did some partnerships with. And I got to go up there throughout the entire build process. I don't really like getting a buck hoist and going to the 30th floor, but it's been cool, like to see some views that most people don't get to see necessarily.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of my favorite things about being in real estate. You kind of like have an inside know, or usually end up knowing about things before like the general public knows. So, I mean, this is like even better into finding out stuff. I love too that you, with this, so we just had a previous podcast that we talked about, like, face-to-face is the best way to talk to people and get people to know you. And the more they get to know you, the more they like you, the more they trust you. But I feel like social media is second best, especially with video, but then too, because you can bring that to the masses. But I just think that, it's cool that people came in and they already felt like they knew you. They're like, oh, you're that guy.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely rewarding when that happens.
Yeah. And then even this is a side note too with the bartending, but like some of the best real estate agents that I know got into real estate from bartending, and they're like, well, I already had all these people I know from, I'm already out there talking.
If I had the time, I'd go back and bartend more.
Yeah.
I gained so many long friendships and clients from bartending.
Yeah.
After I worked for Brookside Bodega, I ended up working downtown at the Oak City Meatball Shop.
Uh-huh.
So the majority of the clientele when I mainly worked nights, and I worked there because they closed at 9 during the week. So I could still get up and have an 8 o'clock meeting and not be drained.
Right.
I mean, I wouldn't be the happiest person in the world, but I mean, I could do it and show a house at 7:45 in the morning and not neglect my business I was trying to grow. But the majority of their clientele was, if you ever heard of the company Red Hat, Red Hat is 20 stories above it, all office space before COVID hit. They would come in every day, the same faces for happy hour.
I had a few friends that worked there out of college.
Yeah, they're pretty big. They're owned by IBM now. But
is it like recruiting or something? Or
so Red Hat is, I think it's cloud infrastructure.
Okay,
maybe I don't know specifically. I know it's tech.
Recruiting for that. Okay,
it's tech, but they got bought by IBM for like some crazy amount of money, like $40 billion. I mean, they're a really big company, and so I picked up a lot of clients that were. It was as Red Hat was getting big, and they were obviously taking care of their employees and paying them well. And they were like, I want to buy a house, and I would like to buy it in downtown because they can walk to work.
Yeah.
So I tried to leverage myself as an asset to help them do that.
Yes, I love it. So where, I guess like now, do you still do giveaways with the Instagram, or like, are you weaving, like how often are you weaving in real estate, or are you at all?
With like the Raleigh is Growing page or the real estate page?
Well, I guess a little bit of both.
So real estate is definitely more focused on real estate. The Raleigh is Growing page. Obviously, there's a lot of things. For example, let me pull up recently. So,
like, for example, like here's a new development coming up, or like
it's not necessarily that. You said you're in Austin,
Dallas.
You're in Dallas.
Yeah.
So we're a lot like Austin, where we're busting at our seams here.
Yeah.
And so, like, for
I used to live in
example,
Austin.
you've got something like this that says Raleigh ranks number 2 as a top metro for women in tech 2024.
Yeah.
So, or you've got something like, let me see, Wake County hit a new record, 82.6 million tourism dollars in 2023, 10 million more than 2022's record. I'm trying to see something.
Do you guys do like a Facebook page with it at all too?
Yeah, but it doesn't have as much traction as compared to Instagram.
Yeah.
But like we keep topping the charts for things.
Yeah.
And if we're not topping, like for example, we just did a post a couple weeks ago. USA Today News ranked Raleigh number 2 real estate market. I think it was Denver, Colorado was number 1. Durham was number 4, which is 20 minutes away, and then Charlotte was number 5.
Okay.
So I mean, like, it's when you start getting stuff in the news like that nonstop, it's very easy to have stuff. It's not necessarily real estate focused, but it's focused on like the hottest real estate market or top growth states in the US. North Carolina was number 3. With all those things coming about, it definitely brings an influx of people here because they're all sitting in places they don't like living. And they're like, I want to go somewhere where the standard of living is cheaper. It's half the price than New York or New Hampshire or California. Yeah. They can most likely get a job that's work from home, or we have tons of tech here. We have a ton of tech, pharmaceuticals.
We're big on
pharmaceuticals huge here as well. Like, you know, I don't know if you've heard of like the weight loss drug Ozempic or Wegovy. So like no one probably even knows it, but they're both made in Clayton, North Carolina, which is around the corner from us.
Yeah. And you have a new listing for me there.
They're like, I think they're $80 to $100 billion drugs right now. Like that's going to bring an influx of manufacturing into the area, which brings people in. Yeah, they may not be able to afford $1 million house, but they can definitely afford the average price point of $465 if they're making a manufacturing salary of 85 to 120, and they have a wife that makes an income as well, or a husband that makes an income as well.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's so interesting. So do you try to like target those companies at all?
You know, I probably should do better at that. I haven't really done that. I have a lot of friends. I've seen a good amount of business from I used to be in tech. So I just had a closing in January from someone I worked with in tech 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the tech it's got its ups and downs though. You saw as they raised interest rates last year.
Yeah.
They started laying everybody off because their stock was going to the bucket. So tech it's cyclical. Pharma the same way too. Like if they don't approve their drug, pharma, they just lay off everybody because they don't.
Well, my first job out of college was with Oracle in Austin, so I did
really good company to work for.
And then after that, I moved to San Angelo after I met my husband. We were doing long distance and worked pharmaceuticals. So I'm like, I know both, and I got laid off too. That's when I got into real estate. So I'm like, I totally get this.
Yeah, I mean, I got laid off from Lenovo. I was actually pretty lucky, and I had done really well. I'm just kind of shocked to be honest. I even got laid off at Lenovo. I was literally killing my quota every quarter for years.
Yeah,
and so their stock went down. They laid off a bunch of people. And then I just went next door and I went to a company called Dude Solutions at the time. Now it's owned by Siemens, called Brightly. But I went there and I literally said, hey, here's my sales numbers. And they hired me on the spot. I mean, I went through the interview process, but I didn't have to go through like 5 interviews, and I hated it. I trying to sell a software as a service like Oracle or Brightly versus selling a commodity like a computer or a server or a tablet or a cell phone, because you have your accounts when you're selling a commodity that just keeps rebuying.
Yeah.
So that's definitely changed a lot.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of like what I've learned from sales. I mean, it's tough doing B2B. I'm with you on that, or like business to business for those that aren't in that field. But I do feel like it gave me a lot of my skills that I use every day in real estate. Like
and I agree. I learned a lot.
Relationship based. Then
I definitely didn't have the sales background coming from teaching.
Yeah.
So when Eddie met me, I was a school teacher. So.
Oh, I love that. So how long have you guys known each other then? Since like
2000.
You've known Adam for a while.
14, 15?
Did we meet at Brittany and Jake's wedding or before that?
I think I knew you because you used to come into the neighborhood and grab a glass of wine with your friend. I don't get her name, but they moved to Charlotte, Lake Norman.
Keever.
Yeah, Keever. And then we ended up staying in a house together at a wedding
Mhm.
for our friend Brittany out in very south of Virginia somewhere, Southern
It
Shores.
was like in
Virginia.
between Maryland and Virginia. We had to go on.
It was. I've never been there. There
It was
was. I remember this. She didn't tell her significant other Adam that we were going, and I didn't even know about it. We pulled up on this toll bridge because it's like there's like this little part from the top of Virginia that
in
meets
front of
the very
us,
tip,
weren't you?
that meets the very tip of Maryland, but there's a toll bridge, a bridge that goes under the ocean and comes back out. So
And he's terrified of water. Yeah, terrified of water.
I don't even know about this, and I'm from North Carolina. I'm like,
yeah, so I didn't know about either. I pulled up to the toll bridge and they were like, hey, it's 25. And I'm like, oh, a quarter, that's it? And they're like, no, $25. I'm like, $25 for a toll bridge. And they're like, I think it was like 11 miles long, right? It was long.
It was 20, I think.
It was long. I mean, you got to a point where you're sitting on the bridge and you can't even see the land anywhere.
Mhm.
It's ever what you're on. And so, and it goes constantly like over and under the water like twice.
Yeah.
And I remember Casey got there and she's like, Adam's not going back over that bridge. And I think she drove all the way around to bring him back home.
We went back north, like to New York.
Yeah, you came all the way up and back down, right?
Adam's like, hell no.
I was like, I'm not getting back on this bridge. And I don't blame him. It's kind of scary, to be honest.
Stopped. We ate fast food. He had to build up the nerve to go through this. So I told them, I said, go ahead and go. We'll be there eventually.
Yeah. It's so funny. God, we're trying to get Adam on the podcast as well. It's going.
Just,
I'll say that.
Adam's like one of those people that like he doesn't show it, but then you see on Instagram he's playing with the dog.
Yeah.
So like, hey, bar owner.
It's so funny.
He's still running the bars, right?
Yeah. He just built Glenwood, nothing big.
Yeah. I just was gonna text you actually. I was on my little 5-mile loop this morning and over the Anthony La Piazza, whatever it's called, is opening.
Yes,
They were unloading food from Cisco or something this morning. They're about to open.
Yeah.
So. Ooh.
Which is exciting.
I'm very excited. We'll have to go actually. Maybe that's where we can meet. We keep trying to meet and get together. Hey, I have a question for you, Eddie. On your pages, do you ever do like sponsored listings and show listings?
Yes.
You want to do one of mine?
Well, I have to sync you up with Carly on that, but definitely for sure.
Yeah, I would work with you.
We've done some, like we just did some stuff. Like if you want to look, she just posted one this morning. But that was for something that she did in the fall. She just like reposted it. It was I have a friend of mine that flips about 100 to 200 houses a year.
Wow.
You may have heard of him. His name's Chris Papalotopoulos.
That name sounds
Chris Papa, what?
If you ever see a red door and Stephanie Anson is the listing agent,
okay.
that's usually his house.
Okay.
But usually he paints the brick gray and he paints the door red.
Okay. I like
And so he flips pretty. He was going to hold on to this neighbor. He bought the entire neighborhood in Anger, and I think it's about 30 or 40 townhomes he bought.
Wow.
And so what he usually does is he'll flip, and then he'll take his profits from his flip, and he'll buy commercial real estate.
Yeah.
And so he owns. I don't even know how much, but I bet you he owns at least 1,000 units.
Okay.
I know I can know off the top of my head where he has at least 400 or 500, and that's just for me knowing the ones in Raleigh that he has. But he buys all over. He goes on stage a lot and talks, but he flips. And so we just did some stuff with him on that. We just did one on Glenwood that's on the market. An agent came to us. They have it's across the street from La Santa. It has a little cute front porch. It's a law firm, a divorce attorney law firm.
So yeah,
that's on the market.
We actually looked at that before it went on the market because
it's cute.
I was still with the agent on that.
He's real, and the agent's really nice too. So we've done some stuff with him. But yeah, we do a lot of stuff that's sponsored. It definitely gets in front of people.
You knew we had the greenhouse, right?
Huh?
We have the greenhouse.
Yeah. I knew that.
Yeah.
And I was like, surprised someone hasn't bought that property.
It's too overpriced.
It's expensive. It is. I think it's $240.
Everything else is around $550 a square feet, commercial wise, which sounds like a lot, but you're only looking at 1,900. So, I mean, 1 million to 1.2 would make sense without anything over that. It's not going to make sense of the rent and what everybody's landing at there. So, there's a commercial hat.
Well, what's the listing called? Let me look it up.
2.5.
No, what's the listing for you that you have that you want to promote?
Oh, 2650 Dresden.
Spell that street name?
Dresden.
Dresden. I know where this is.
Advertised it 1,000 times.
The
So, what is one trick or hack that you feel like has gotten you to where you are now with these pages?
So the page part is I have Carly. I have my wife. I would definitely not have the pages without my wife.
But someone could hire someone to help them too if they wanted to.
No, though, but so she's tried to leverage by hiring people because she's getting really thin with
Oh,
what she's doing. And some people just, yeah, they want the idea in their head is, yeah, they want to do it, but are they good at it?
okay.
So they have
So
the same vision as you.
yeah, and vision. And the trick that gets so much attention from people is naturally done content.
Okay.
No stock. She will not do a stock photo unless, like, for some reason it's like a wine event and they already have photos from the last event or something. She tries not to use any stock photos. She tries to go out and try to make something organic from
Like her own iPhone, or like does she do like photography?
Yeah, we've got she does everything. Professional photography. She's done videography. We've got a drone. We've got
Oh my gosh, she is like amazing. We need to get her on too.
and she also, like, so on top of, like, with her doing the Instagram, she runs a bunch of events.
Okay,
So
like for this page or like in conjunction with other people?
So she has Raleigh Boutique Warehouse sale that she usually does a spring, summer, fall, winter sale. And
Okay.
since she sees the hard parts of owning a boutique and like trying to unload your leftovers and stuff, at least you can like throw it all in the, instead of having to sell it for dirt cheap in your store, just throw it in a bin, come to the show. We just had one this past Sunday, actually.
A sample sale, it sounds like.
It's like a way, like, for example, you show up and all these boutiques have like a $10 bin, a $20 bin, a $30 bin, and it could be like things that are usually $100-$150. They're just trying to get their cost back out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And also unload it to someone that's happy. And so this last one we just did, it was about 60 vendors, I believe.
Wow.
And so it's all local boutiques. And then every spring and fall, she does what they call a fashion fest, which is she partners with Models for Charity.
I was going to say she does Models for Charity. That's a thing here.
She partners with Model for Charity, and basically what they do is we have a runway set up. Usually it's in like a newer development that the developer wants people to come to. So like we've done it in Smoky Hollow, which is a newer developed downtown. We've done it at Ironworks. We've done Fenton and Cary. And so she tries to negotiate the space for a way that she can still donate a good amount of money to charity for it.
Yeah.
And what she does is she covers costs by selling booths, usually 50, 60, 70 vendors. And when she has the vendors, they're all boutiques usually.
Mm-hmm.
And the boutiques have their clothes on the runway from the Models for Charity. So if you like it, you can go over here to XYZ Boutique and buy that look.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It's good. It's good for women also get out of the house, give them something to do on a random Thursday.
Well, yeah, and it's like something she's passionate about too. Like, well, I assume because she used to own.
She's really passionate about fashion. She went to school for fashion.
Yeah, and like jewels. And, yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, do you get a lot of clients from her doing all these events and stuff, or?
Yes and no. I mean, it definitely brings a lot more people around me than I would see.
Yeah. Because
I'm there helping her every day.
Yeah.
And so it gets me back in front of them whenever she's doing events. It's seeing people. I don't be someone I talk to every day, but it's definitely like someone that I'm like maybe friends with on Facebook or social media. And I'm like, hey, how are you, man? We talk, we chat. I've been meaning to call you. I want to buy a house at the beach.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. So it's definitely helped.
Yeah. Well, I guess I've asked you, like, I keep asking you, like, what do you do? Does this get you a lot of leads? I guess I could ask you direct. What do you think is your biggest like lead generation source?
Sphere of influence.
Sphere of influence. But I feel like you probably do stay top of mind from your wife, like her doing all these events and this page. And
I'm from here.
Back to the one-stop shop.
Yeah, the big part is I'm from here. And so I have a lot of people that are like, I call them like my cheerleader. They're in different parts. I I'm from here. My dad's from here. My grandmother's from here. So the only person that doesn't live in Raleigh that's in my family is my brother, and he moved to Charlotte for his significant other's job.
Yeah. And he does real estate there.
Yeah, he's in real estate there full time.
Yeah. And I'm sure you guys can do referrals back and forth.
Yeah, we do a bunch of back and forth referrals.
Yeah.
But it's definitely been a rewarding business to be in.
Mhm.
Tell you, it's been life changing.
Do you do anything to really like harness into your sphere of influence, or is it just natural at this point? Like, I don't know, like, yearly gifts or like.
So like during Christmas time, I go around and I drop off cookies.
Okay. Love that.
And it's getting to a point, I love doing it. It's getting to be really exhausting. It used to take a day. Now it takes 2 days. Now it takes a week. It's like all past
I
clients.
do that too, and I get help.
Why not at a certain spot and have them pick them up? Like
It's not the same.
Yeah.
People really like when I show up and my wife makes these cookies. So it's like
she is amazing.
Yeah, so it's like a cornflake crunch cookie. It's like this big, and it's crispy. And so I drop it off, and people look forward to them every year. They're like, "Where are my cookies?" And so I drop them off, and it definitely brings a good amount of referrals back too.
Yeah.
Every year we do a food drive. So we as a firm, we just did a big food drive. I forgot. I think it was. I can't remember the amount of pounds of food.
A lot, I'll say.
It was a lot. And so what we did is like we drop off bags.
Mhm.
We gave everybody in the firm like 25, 30 bags. I got them donated from Publix, the paper bags.
Nice.
And I just tell them what I'm doing, and they throw it through corporate approves it. Then I go pick them up.
Yeah.
And then we put like a little half sheet that says what the current mission is looking for,
Mhm.
or the food bank or whatever we identify as. And so we donated 1,200 pounds of food, and they said the estimate 950 people to feed.
Wow.
Families to feed a meal. And so so what we do is I go around and give them to my neighbors and stuff. And I say, hey, we partner with like obviously our attorney that we work with and our lenders, and we throw a big party. And so we say, hey, come on in. Like you can either text us and I'll pick it up if you just want to donate and not participate. If you would like to donate, come get a cocktail or something or a drink or a beer, and we'll have appetizers and stuff, and you can drop it off. And then we try to donate it like right before Thanksgiving to try to give it a push for them.
Yeah.
Love that.
I haven't decided or thought about what we're all going to do as a spring event, but I think we'll probably do something spring or summer related. Yeah. Something fun.
I really like how involved you and your wife are with charity while, meshing it with your passion.
It's more my wife that's pushed the charity into me. It's good to give back.
But I feel
we're all
like
not stressing for
does,
food. It's good to give back.
It helps people to kind of show what you're about and what you stand for. And I feel like people like knowing that about people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so like, it's where I was going at with it as far as sphere is that when you touch people organically without saying, here's a birthday card or here is a thank you card. Yeah. You're saying, hey, thanks for donating. Come see me, hang out. Let's have a beer together. And you socialize with everybody. People remember that more than they remember like a birthday card or an email, a monthly email or something, I feel like. Yeah. And I've kind of gotten a lot of these ideas off of my brother that's been doing this a lot longer than me. Yeah. Because what he does is he does his specific neighborhood. Okay. And he will door knock. He does a lot more than 25 bags. So he does it on a bigger spectrum. Yeah. And then he usually says, hey, come do a food drive. He does a big pie giveaway at his house. Yeah. He has like a big band and everything and throws a big party.
That's so fun. Yeah, so
that's kind of where I got into it.
Get him on too.
Yeah.
Love it. So tell me a little bit about this new firm. Or like
me and my partner Brad, we left Keller Williams back in.
Is that who you started out with?
Yeah, we left back in September, and when we left, we took a few people with us that we were close with. Yeah, and we took our team with us, and from there we have an office. We're in downtown Raleigh, right across the street from the governor's mansion. We work with an attorney pretty closely. His name is Dwayne Hall.
Okay.
And we leverage him for help, legal questions, etc. And now we've grown to, I think we're at 13 agents, 14. We're at 14 agents, and we're cooking. We got a couple that are part-time, mostly are full-time.
Okay.
But we've got some people that like have an insurance license, and they just want to do referrals or do a deal here and there, which is fine.
Yeah.
They just want to leverage it because they can get leads off being an insurance agent.
Right.
And then grow it a little bit. We don't want to get crazy big.
Yeah.
Focus
on
with it all.
Yeah.
And you still want to. I feel like you still want to keep a boutique vibe to it.
Yeah.
In some fashion, because you have more of a level of service at that point.
And what's the name of it?
It's called Raleigh's Growing Real Estate.
I love it. Awesome. Okay.
And so that's what we do.
I love it. I love that you leverage the name too.
Yeah.
Like
it's definitely helped a lot.
Have you guys had to like trademark that at all, or?
So I have it. We have LLCs and incorporations and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's someone that's doing Clayton is Growing. And so it's kind of annoying, but they have like 1,000 followers. So I just like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not an agent. I can't knock someone trying to.
One in Charlotte too. Is that your brother that does that one?
My brother does Close with Chris.
Okay, because there's one.
He does videos. He's real heavy in the video business. And I'm trying to figure out if it has been very beneficial. So his partner is a CMO for a Fortune 500 company.
Okay.
And he's been he's been head of marketing for like Bank of America, Merrill Lynch, Wells Fargo, like really big companies.
Yeah.
And he, for example, you probably saw when Wells Fargo went through their whole thing a couple years ago, and they had a Labrador Retriever on a commercial.
I think I remember. Yeah.
Remember that? So he was in charge for doing commercials like that and shooting them and stuff. I mean, he oversees it.
Right.
And so as they're getting more into doing stuff like that, John has been assisting Chris with some marketing. And now Chris is like so busy that he's running around like his head was his head's cut off. He was telling me, he's like, I don't know how to gauge. That's what we were just talking about this last week. He's like, I can't gauge if it's from doing all these videos.
I'm thinking of Explore Charlotte is what I'm thinking of. Because
I'm a big believer in video right now.
It's hard to get on video though. Like for him, like I did one with him one day because his partner was out of town for work last minute. And like, it's real nerve-wracking when you got a camera on you.
I know.
Like, this is a lot easier because you're recording it. And then like, if something you don't want, you can just restart it.
Yeah. Right.
But like, it's just a little different.
Live. Yeah.
Yeah. When you're like, the camera's on you. And so like, whenever, I'm sure you've done videos before, but like when you're doing a video, like, and you mess up, you just got to keep talking. You're like, we'll cut it out.
Right.
And I'm like,
I usually just send them to an editor and
then by the time I thought about that, I messed up. I forgot what I wanted to say. And so that's the biggest reason I haven't done them yet, because I'm kind of afraid of it.
Okay, so I have a tip for you and for our audience. I think this is one I've already given, but I discovered this app called Captions, and I think it's like $55 for the year, and then there's like you can do a monthly fee, but it was a lot cheaper to do the yearly. And it has teleprompters on it, and you can change whatever the teleprompter says. You can change speed, but it looks like you're talking into it. And then there's actually another feature to it that if you wanted to just like, let's say you're looking like you're recording yourself here, you can actually talk or like be reading off of a script, but there's an AI tool that will correct your eyes to make it look like you're looking at the camera too.
That's cool.
So I don't know, that might help. And I feel like that will get you more in the groove of doing video too, possibly. Yeah,
I think what we've discussed is maybe doing like some conversational based videos.
Okay. Yeah.
Like more like a market update or what's going on this side of town. I know the information. I don't even have to look it up. Right. I can tell you what's going on in every part of Raleigh because I read the news every single morning and I have like 15 news apps on my phone that pop up. And when something's good that I like, I forward it over to my wife. She makes it look cute and more organically and puts it on social media.
Yes. What's her name? Carly?
Her name's Carly, yeah.
I need a Carly. She's adorable.
With a K.
Cute. I love it. What's her Instagram? We'll shout her out too.
She's Peachy Carly. Peachykarly.
Oh, and you have that in the bio for Raleigh is Growing.
Mhm.
Love it. Yeah, it's such a cute page. And there's a little bit of everything. There's food, there's drinks, there's fashion, there's real estate, there's attorneys. I mean, gosh, good for y'all for getting this all started. This is and just
I will say it has been 90% her.
yeah.
I do a lot, but I mean, it's her. Like, she says how exhausting it is to always have to, because everything she does for her job is she has to create.
Right.
And she's like, eventually, I'm like, she's like, it's way different than sitting at a desk working 9 to 5 because she's nonstop doing creative energy.
Yeah. I feel I can understand that because I do a lot of creativity and creation for my real estate page, and now I've brought on a new person that's helped tremendously, but it's a lot of brain power.
For example, all right, so if you have the page pulled up, one from like last week, find the one that has patio. It's number 6, has patio season on it, and then turn your volume up a little bit. It took her and her sister. She called me, but I was busy doing something. And it took her a while to do this video.
Yeah. Well, it looks great. Patio season's calling. I love that. That's great. We all love sitting on the yeah.
That split. We need to add that to your Raleigh is Growing page.
She's been doing a little bit of Wilmington is Growing.
Oh,
Not
nice.
as big. Like, we own a house down there. And so she's
That's
like,
what he was doing yesterday. They remodeled it. He had to drop tile.
yeah, we've been I have a house that I got it from my grandmother. And she bought it for it'd be pennies now, back in 1954, I think. And it's in like an area right at Carolina Beach, which is like, I'd probably say it's probably like one of the faster growing areas of the beach here, outside of Wrightsville Beach. And it's like right at the water. There's a house in front of me in the water, and it's a little cottage built in like 1944.
Uh-huh.
And so we've done everything from redo the foundation, windows, vault the ceilings, all new electrical, plumbing, rough ends, new plywood for the floor.
Wow.
And I've tried to do it with like, since the house is only like 800 square feet.
Yeah.
It's a 2-bed, 2-bath. It was a 3-1. And so I've tried to do a lot of things where like it's got some real character to it.
Yeah, I bet.
And keep like the original doors, but paint them teal and stuff and resand them down and make them look cool. So it has some kind of actual charm to it. And it has been a project that we have been doing for going on almost 2 years.
That's so cool though.
It's almost done.
Like you keeping it in the family, like it was your grandmother's. I mean,
And so, yeah, my day yesterday was I got up, I drove to the beach to drop off one box of tile. We were short. And I got it. I sourced bright teal tile, subway tile for the showers.
Cute. I love that.
And the builder called me last week and was like, "Hey, we're out of that tile. We need more." And I was like, "How much you need? Can't be that much," because I measured it. He said, "We need, just order another box." So I was like, "I got a box." I was like, "Well, I have to order that because it's not in stock." So I had to wait a week, get it, then take it down yesterday. But I've been going down. Like yesterday was like 72, 73 degrees and sunny. So I get to, even though it's annoying to drive to the beach, I got to go down to the beach. I dropped off the tile, met with the builder for briefly. I ran like a little 4 or 5 mile loop. I packed my lunch. I ate my lunch on the beach.
That's so nice.
Then I showed 2 condos to a friend of mine, and then I drove back home.
How far is the drive?
It's like an hour and 45, 50 minutes. It's a pretty easy drive, but it's all one highway.
Bridge closed. Since they closed the main bridge coming in.
It wasn't so bad yesterday. Yesterday I didn't have really any traffic.
Times I've been, it's been horrible.
Yeah.
They've only got one train going into Wilmington right now.
Yeah, but usually it's a 85 mile an hour cruising one highway until you get to Wilmington, go through town in 20 minutes.
Easy drive.
I miss a trolley stop. So bad. That was my favorite.
There. In all my years of being there, I'd never eaten there.
Are you from here?
I'm from Greensboro originally.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's dope. My really good friend worked there.
Oh, really? Okay, cool. Yeah, my parents still live there. My aunt and uncle. I know a ton of people there still. So, but I graduated from Wake Forest and Winston in 2016, and then immediately moved to Austin. So I don't go back that often, but I'll be back in September for sure. You know, who knows? I might sprinkle something in before, but I'll be back in Greensboro for a wedding in September. So It's exciting to see all the growth in North Carolina. And my grandma grew up in Apex. I was always in Raleigh I was a big swimmer. So before we got the big complex for swimming in Greensboro, we were always at the one in Raleigh. And so I spent a lot of time there, and Charlotte too. And now my little cousin goes to UNC. My other cousin, he graduated from NC State. All my family is like big NC State people, so they're always at the games and stuff. So I keep up with stuff, but I don't go back as often as I should. But
It's a different vibe. I can't believe you went to Texas. It's too hot.
I know.
I love Texas. It's just
it really is. Yeah.
It is hot.
it is hot. I can't do it.
I know. I want to bring my husband to like Wilmington and stuff. I'm like, this is where we go to like spring break and Wrightsville, and like a lot of our friends had figure eight houses and stuff. It was just. It's funny, and even now with Outer Banks, like the TV show coming out, I think they filmed in Charleston, but
They filmed in Charleston, but they're back filming. They filmed at Carolina Beach this past summer.
I love all the dockside movies, and it's usually the Nicholas Spark ones that uses dockside. So
Yeah. I think that was the one with Juliana Huff or whatever.
One was Safe Haven.
Safe Haven, that's the one I'm thinking of.
That's
Yeah.
Southport.
Yeah. Okay, that was Southport. That's
But
right.
that's still right down the street.
Yeah. Well, it's nice that you guys can really like bop over there and sell a beach condo or whatever. I mean, I'm trying to do the same, but San Angelo is West Texas and Dallas is North Texas, and it's a 4-hour drive, so a little bit farther. Can't hit it.
Wilmington's pretty easy to deal with too. Like Wilmington doing deals there, they're pretty straightforward.
Yeah. And it's like it's a
done
place
there.
that you guys have grown up going to forever, So
Bigger commission, and the agents are easier to work with. So
True.
That's
The houses are half the price unless you're at the beach.
yeah, I hate to say it, but I kind of run circles around those people.
Yeah.
So
So what's the future to come for just the Raleigh is growing brand? Like, I want to do you have a future plan for the Instagram? Future plans for the brokerage?
Just grow.
Just grow. Just keep growing.
it's the name.
Well, it's like you never know. I mean, shoot, we're in an election year. I mean, things can change so rapidly. I mean, shoot, you never know. We just had a pandemic out of nowhere, so just all about it, adapting to it.
Mm-hmm.
Any other last hacks, tips, or tricks that you've picked up in real estate that you want to share with our audience?
One golden nugget you would give everybody.
Or it can be a book or a podcast, anything that would help.
Let me pull something up. I'll give you what I recommend.
While you're pulling that up, I do want to point out to everybody, I think we talked about this on the podcast, recapping our Gold Bar conference. Take note that he said that he can give you any of the stats from the market reports. He already knows that in his head. Remember that it's very important to know, like off the top of your head, if someone were to ask you in the grocery store, know your market knowledge or have that in your pocket. So I liked that you said that, Eddie. I'm gonna.
Yeah, I know. I do actually know market stats pretty well.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Sell It Like Sirhan?
Sirhan, yes, yeah, that's who.
So I listen to his stuff a lot. So I alternate if I run 5 miles or if I walk. If I walk, I've been listening to some podcasts.
Yeah.
Like Call Me a Nerd. I've been listening also some older commencement speeches from like some of the bigger universities.
Yes, yeah.
Last week I just listened to Steve Jobs from 05 at Stanford.
Yeah.
There's still a bunch of knowledge from these people, even though Jobs is dead. I mean, he literally talks about like, don't give up. He got fired from Apple, created Pixar, and pretty much came right back to Apple because they bought Pixar.
Yeah.
Which made Toy Story. A lot of people don't know that. But like I've listened to his audiobook. He actually is the person reading the book.
Yes.
It's pretty hilarious.
Yeah. We just saw him this past weekend in New York. And insane.
And story, Eddie, he's one of my mentors. John, it works with him at Sirhan. He's one of the mentors. So we got to tour and go on a penthouse condo viewing in New York with him.
And we
That's
toured.
when you were in New York last week, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's what we're
and then SOI. That's what I try to give new agents. It's building a real estate agent sphere of influence, pretty much.
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah. And he just came out with a brand new book. It's Brand It Like Sirhan.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that one yet.
I know that's on my list. I want to finish my 2 other.
I actually am doing that. I'm almost what you do with that. My suggestion for that, John told me, take it chapter by chapter and actually do what he tells you. Do a chapter a day, and then do that, and then do another chapter, because he breaks down how to build your brand, kind of thing. And if you've already got a brand, how you can improvise and how to tweak it, kind of thing. So
Love that. Love that. All right, so we like Ryan Serhant's books. That's one of my favorite too. Sell It Like I think about stuff in that book all the time.
yes, so, little golden nugget.
Love it. Well, cool. Any other last comments or questions from you guys?
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, Eddie. We really appreciate it. It's great getting to know you, and I'm excited to follow your pages. I mean, it's Raleigh's an awesome market to follow, and I think that even if you're not in that market or plan to like move to that market, I think that, like
It's a very insulated market.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think a lot of markets do follow like these Raleighs and Austins and Denvers of the United States. So yeah, everybody make sure you follow. We've got the ticker going, Eddie and Raleigh. Raleigh is growing and Raleigh is growing real estate. Give me a follow too, Hallie B. McCrory, shameless plug, and Casey is CB Stiers. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, we've got it all. And please don't forget to leave us a review, especially if you liked this podcast. We're on Apple and Spotify. You can do reviews on both those platforms. Leave comments on YouTube. We try to be everywhere. So and if you have any other suggestions or people that you want to hear, drop us a line and we'll get them on, as best as we can. So thank you, Eddie, again for coming on, and we will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
Bye, y'all.
Everybody.
Bye, Eddie. Thank you.
Bye, y'all.